right, ladies and gentlemen, it is DJ Dwayne Minard here, and I have got this wonderful opportunity to speak to a gentleman all the way over in England, DJ, producer. His name is James Womersley. James, welcome. How you doing?
I'm good, mate. Thanks for having me on. How are you?
I'm doing okay. There. Are you sitting in your basement there?
Yeah, it is the studio in making. I was looking to get it plasterboarded over the Easter weekend, but obviously with the situation, I can't get no plasterboard. So everything's set up, but just not got no walls at the minute. I'm in the attic. So.
Oh, you're in the attic. It's not the basement.
Yeah.
So that way your poor wife doesn't have to endure the hearing the music, or
pretty much, and she gets a makeup room and I get a studio. So yeah.
She gets a makeup room. Jesus, how big is a makeup room?
It needs to be big without makeup she's got, mate.
All right. Well, so how are you guys surviving over there during this pandemic?
Yeah, I mean, you see media and things, and you don't know what exactly is going on. You just got to believe what you see, really. But as far as me personally, I've been sort of like in isolation since about a week before UK got put into isolation. So I've been working from home. So I'm getting a little bit restless, but I've got my music to keep me busy if I'm not working. So yeah, all good for me, mate. All good.
Well, that's good. And speaking of your music, I mean, every time I turn around on Facebook, I see you working on something in the studio. You're playing something. I don't know where the hell you are finding the time, because you were doing this before the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
And just so the folks at home can know, James has had like a shit ton of releases in the last little while on Vamos Music, Let There Be House. I think I'm missing a couple here.
Yeah, I had my EP come out last Friday on Vamos, which is Had to Go and Starlight. Then at the end of March, I had my first release of the year, which was on Open House Records, which is called In Your Arms, which has actually just gone to #1 in the international charts. Found out yesterday.
Congratulations.
So that's my first #1. Thank you very much. And I've got a couple of forthcoming releases on a label called Something Records. Pretty much, I've got a couple of releases coming up pretty much every month for next, so like 5-6 months at the moment. So yeah, keeping busy, mate.
Dear God, have you always had that work ethic, or is it just in the last little while?
Well, the way I got started with production really was I was DJing literally every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, up and down UK. But I noticed that as sad as it sounds in the scene nowadays, you have to be seen to be making music as well as playing music. It's kind of hand in hand at the moment. So about 5 years ago, I started a bit of production. I don't know, maybe 18 releases, but I took a bit of a break from the music. You know, working a 9-to-5 job. I was DJing all weekend, every weekend. I was making tunes, and I just kind of got a little bit burnt out. So I took a little bit of a break. I started producing again, sort of like mid last year, but it just seemed to click. So I listened back to the tunes that I was doing like 5 years ago, and I was doing them just blind. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just putting basic tunes together. And when I listen to them now compared to what I'm producing now, the worlds apart. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it just clicks, and just with my work ethic is when I get up in the morning, I'll think about his music. Before I go to bed on the night, I'll think about his music. So it's just constantly just going through my brain. I'll be sat at work and I'll get an idea for a piano riff, and I'm like, oh shit, you know, when I get home, I need to get this down. So it's just constantly, and with social media as well, with access you've got on your phone now. You know, my phone's pinging every 2 minutes with Facebook updates and things. So it's constant. So it's just something that's I've genuinely love doing. Do you know what I mean? So I never get bored of the work ethic. I've been stuck in the loft and, you know, just making tunes really.
Well, it's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I wish I could be as inspired as you are right now.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes it does piss you off sometimes when you've got an idea and you think it's brilliant and it turns out to be not brilliant. And, you know, you end up, I've got so many tunes that have just been parked, don't like them, don't think I'll ever finish them. But then in a way it's good, because you go back to an old tune, you think, actually, that's really good. I can take this part. And so, yeah, it swings in roundabouts, as we say. So, yeah, but it's just something that I can't get enough of, to be honest with you. I can't get enough. So,
well, it's evident, and it shows, and it's working for you. So, man, that's awesome, and congratulations. Now, for people here in Canada, How would you describe your sound?
For me, if you've got an house beat, which is a 4-beat, you can't beat a piano. So pretty much every one of my records is big pianos, big vocals, and just something that's got a nice sort of like rhythm and flow to it, and just, you know, something nice and groovy. So, but yeah, you'll always recognise my music straight away with a piano and a vocal. So,
well, pretty much, yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I could have said that, but I thought it'd be easier for you to describe.
absolutely, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
now, have you always been a house head? Like, how did you get into DJing?
So no, not at all. So back in my sort of like early teens, I think I'm about 13 maybe, I got my first set of vinyl decks. And at the time in England, it was all sort of like just coming out of the rave era. And then I don't know if you guys, I'm not saying you guys, you probably will have heard of it. It's not like you guys are just totally cut off from music, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it was sort of like happy hardcore scene that I got into when I was younger. So I was massively into the hardcore scene. Then when I got to an age where I started going out, sort of like drinking and socialising, going to clubs, it was more house music in the towns where I lived, in the clubs. So I kind of got into house scene about late 90s, and then just progressed from there really. And but I'm quite eclectic. I will listen to pretty much any genre, subgenre of dance music. So techno, tech house, anything like that. As long as it gives you a feeling, then I'll listen to it. To be honest with you.
Well, I think that's the mark of a good DJ, right? Like, and I'm thinking music in general. I mean, I listen to everything from country to Americana jazz.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, I'm influenced by everything, and I have been since I was a little kid. So, personally, I think that's what makes a great DJ.
I mean, I'm a massive hip hop fan as well.
Okay.
Always have been massively into hip hop. So things like that. But like you say, even weirdly, when I used to go for a run, I'd even have a bit of classical music on. Just weird shit like that. So yeah, if it takes me fancy, I don't really care what genre it is. If I like it, I'll listen to it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's, you know what, that is so refreshing to hear. And thankfully, most of the guys I've interviewed have been that way.
Yeah.
They're all, well versed in music. There's nothing worse than those social media DJs, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's genres of music that I'll constantly listen to, but I'll never play as a DJ. So like, I quite like techno, but I wouldn't. You probably won't catch me doing a techno set.
No.
But I don't mind going to a club that's playing techno or tech house. But it's just something that, with me, it's got to have a vocal. It's got to have something that lifts you up, and sort of like your techno and tech house is more repetitive and away from that side of the sound. So it's not like, it's not something that I would play, but it's something that I'd definitely listen to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, well, I like playing tech house. I like getting into that headspace of just a simple groove with a bass line that's rolling. And it just, I mean, and I think that's what I love about house music. It sort of puts you in a place.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Now, do you think, I mean, I haven't been to England in a while, the tradition of English house music, do you think it's always been kind of vocally, or?
I think, to be honest with you, it's such a weird thing. It depends where you are in the country. Oh. You know, I mean, I'm near Leeds in Yorkshire. You go to Leeds and it's a lot of vocal, funk house, kind of like Ed Candy. Have you guys heard of Ed Candy?
Yeah, actually, we managed to get signed by Ed Candy.
Wicked, yeah. So, you know, that's kind of like the main sound in Leeds. But then if you go to some more of the sort of like out of the way clubs in Leeds, there will be big tech house nights, techno nights, and things like that. But then you can go to maybe, I don't know, if you go to London, maybe it's a lot more underground, a bit more techie. So it's just, the UK is just, it depends where you are to what you'll get, really.
Nice. Well, you know, my experience with London, actually, London is what broke me as a DJ or as a producer. You know, I was doing filtered disco house, and in the gay scene here, I mostly play in the gay scene. That stuff was not happening in 2000, right? Like funky disco was just not a thing in my community, and I was so blown away when I got the opportunity to play in London. I got to play at the End.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
And it's so nice to talk to somebody who knows what these clubs are. And anyway, I got to the End, and I did a great, I did a set. I must have played for this night like maybe four times. It was such an inspiration. And what I loved about the UK scene was that there was, funky disco, there was tech, there was house. Like at any night of the week, I could go out and I could hear all types of house music,
Yeah,
and it was so
absolutely.
fucking amazing.
Yeah,
And actually, the other thing that I found kind of funny is I was visiting London while I was DJing, and I went with my production partner, and we ended up going to Ministry of Sound. I think I knew somebody that was doing something there, and we
yeah,
weren't really fond of what was going on in the big room, so we went to the smaller room, which was packed.
yeah.
And it was a young crowd. They were probably in their 20s. We would have been in our 30s. And it was like a totally hetero night. Like there was like, we were the only
Yeah.
gays in the place. And I was laughing my ass off and so happy because everything the DJ was playing was the shit that I play.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was looking at my production partner and going, see, like, this is why I need, like, I wanted to move to England at that point. And I was like, this is why, because the straight community in England does not look at disco as being a gay thing. They don't look at disco house or any part of house music as having any sexuality placed on it. I don't think. I mean, you guys are way more open. And I think because disco never died in the UK, there's no stigma.
I think with that as well is, I think what a lot of people don't understand as well, like with house music, it started from disco.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, why would you totally scrap the thing that started the thing that you love? You know what I mean?
I 100% agree. But being in Canada and being influenced by what happened in America, because I'm old enough to remember when disco died.
Yeah.
And and it was, I mean, I didn't realize until I was in my teens why. Like when I started listening to disco again and I learned about the history of it, I was so heartbroken actually to think that an entire genre of music died because of homophobia and racism. It's ridiculous.
It's bullshit.
It's total bullshit. And so going to London, I was just overjoyed. I mean, I remember going to Horse Meat Disco.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And the records this guy was playing, and I'm fairly fluent with disco. Shit, he was playing stuff. Until the part of the sample of a house track I knew came on, I was on the dance floor going, I have no idea what these tunes are. And I was shocked because I thought I was pretty good with my disco, but there's this an abundance of it that just the English just get. You know what I mean? And it's so funny to watch like these 20-year-old straight guys going off to like the campiest disco, and they give no shit. They're on the dance floor. They don't give a fuck. And I'm just like, this is why I love England.
You see, as well at the minute, sort of like the early 2000s, sort of like Ed Candy disco house, proper disco house. It's the in sound at the minute as well. It's making a bit, you know, like obviously you know with music, one year it's this sound, then it's this sound, then it's this sound. Well, at the minute it is all going disco. It is all going disco house again in the UK. So yeah, there's a big resurgence of disco house coming back.
Well, then I need to get my ass back. Do you get a chance to go clubbing at this point, or are you just obviously working?
No, I mean, me and the missus, we get out sort of like most weekends. Leeds is normally our place. For me personally, Leeds is probably the best club scene, or what in the top sort of like 2-3 in England.
Nice.
The Leeds club scene is just fucking unreal. So we normally head into Leeds. I know most of the DJs from there from my time because I used to play in Leeds quite regular. So, you know, it's good to just go in and meet up and have a chat and things like that. Or if we're not out, then I might be gigging. I might be playing in Leeds or what have you. But if you get a chance to go to Leeds on a night out, mate, honestly, the scene and the music is just second to none at the minute. It really is.
Definitely. Yeah, well, that definitely would be something I want to do. I mean, my partner and I were planning on going hopefully in the fall, but I think that's out of the question now with what the hell's going on. Yeah. I mean, one thing as well with Leeds, like you've been saying as well, there's like a big sort of like gay scene in Leeds. Oh, yeah. You're going to the bar. I mean, there's one particular bar there, and we're there every time we're going to Leeds. We're always in there, and you'll find that the majority of the people there are hetero anyway. It's mainly straight people that are in there, but the music is just disco house, big funky house, art classics. Somebody will drop a couple of new ones. Then you've got upstairs, they've got a penthouse, and it's all tech house. Then they've got what they call Breakfast Club, which starts at 4 o'clock in the morning over at the nightclub across the road, and that's all tech. It's fucking insane, man. Yeah, see, now you're making me very much want to go to England, because it's the most fun I've ever had dancing has been in England, for sure.
Yeah.
People, I don't know what it is about the culture there, but they just fucking get it.
It's because nobody likes living in England, so when it gets to weekend, they want to forget about living in England. and they just go out and enjoy us then, you know.
No, nobody likes to live in England. Are you kidding? It's gorgeous there. I guess maybe when you live there, you don't find it as nice. But I mean,
when you see it every day, it's not. It's yeah.
What is your best experience of hearing one of your tracks out? Like, I mean, weren't you on BBC One?
BBC Radio, yeah. So not the main broadcasting channel, which is Radio 1. They do what they call in England, they do BBC Introducing. So that's just sort of like a sister station. And it's just for like upcoming producers and artists, like bands, singers. And if you send them, I think you're allowed to submit so many tracks every 8 weeks. And if they like them, then they'll get airtime. And so far this year, what we're in April, I've had 3 tracks played in 4 months. So yeah, so that when I got the email, because they send you an email, say, oh, your track's just been played, yada yada yada. And I was out with the wife. Actually, we were out clubbing, and we were just about to go into a club, and my phone started pinging and pinging. I was like, what the fuck's going on? So I looked and I checked my emails. I was like, oh, they just played my track. Then I'm getting Twitter updates, and they tagged me on Twitter. And then Facebook were just pinging, people's messaging me. I was like, fuck. And just one of the best feelings to know that it's been on BBC Radio, you know, which could lead to bigger things.
Well,
so yeah, that's awesome.
Like,
even when you listen back to the show as well, you know, you can listen back to the show and the introduction they get to my track, they get such a good introduction. And then when they put it on Twitter, the tweet that they put, I was like, oh my fucking God. It was just such a good feeling, man.
That is awesome. Now, have you ever been out, not known the DJ, and heard one of your tracks?
No, I've been out and known the DJ and heard my tracks, but I don't think I have. No, I don't think I have.
No. I assure you, when that happens to you the first time, you're gonna.
I'm done then. I'm mission accomplished, mate. You know.
Yeah. It is. It's great validation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it's not like it's when you see like the reaction, like when I've seen DJs that I know that have played my tracks, and you see the reaction of people that they don't know that it's your record, and it's just like fucking wow. Yeah. You know, I mean, a couple of months ago, I was gigging in Leeds. I was playing in Leeds, and I went to it's called Bar Fibre, which is, like I've just been saying, probably the best bar by none. And I'm good friends with the DJ, and he knew that I'd been playing. He says to me, he says, "Oh, do you want to drop one of your tracks?" And I must be the only DJ that doesn't like playing his own music. Mm-hmm. And because I've heard it that many times, you'll know yourself. You've heard it that many times, you're sick of hearing it. So I think I had only one of my tracks on my entire gig stick, and it's actually a remix of Deborah Cox. It's over now.
I've been playing that one. Yes.
Yeah. I think Freemasons did a good remix of it back in the day, and he let me in DJ box, and I dropped my track and just see it reaction of people. It's just like fucking hell, you know. This is my track, and people are reacting to it the way they're reacting to it. Yeah. So yeah, just such a good feeling.
It really is. I think that Tina Turner bootleg I was telling you about, it was out at a time like early 2000s, and I was DJing a very small venue in Toronto. Yeah. And there was a party for a film that Ian McKellen was in.
Okay.
Sir Ian McKellen.
Ian McKellen, sir.
And it was that place I was playing at was basically a mansion, and they were all out in the backyard. So it was like a film crew or whatever. I didn't think they were going to come up, and I literally was I'm just DJing. There was nobody there. Then all of a sudden, they're all in the room, and fucking Ian McKellen is on the dance floor dancing to my Tina Turner remix, and I'm just like, holy fuck, like what are the odds that, you know, you're, and I was literally just started. It was like, I'd only been playing house music for like a year.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd always loved it. It's been a passion of mine since I was like 16, but it was such a wild feeling. And I'm going to continue with the story because it's just fucking funny as hell, because everybody's having a good time. We're all dancing. I think he'd had a few drinks in his system, and he came up to this tiny little it wasn't even a DJ booth. It was just a little stand with like these denim decks on it. That's how far back we're going here. And I'm like, I'm just kind of like, I'm still fairly young. And a buddy of mine who's a little older was standing beside me and just sort of watching it all go down. And Ian McKellen comes to the booth, and I'm like, holy fuck, that's Ian. Like, like, holy shit, he's coming to the booth. And he says to me, he comes up to the booth and he's like, is the music always this good, like in here? And I'm just kind of like, and my buddy, thank God, my buddy like chimed in with, well, it is when he's here. I'm like, holy fuck, thank you, because I had no idea what to say.
You know what to say.
What do I say to Sir Ian McKellen? The next thing I know, he grabs me by the head, like he puts his hands on either side of my head, and he pulls me in, and he fucking kissed me on the lips. I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? I just got kissed on the lips by Sir Ian McKellen, you know? And it was so funny because it's like, I don't want to be kissed by Ian McKellen. Like, this is not something, but the whole time I'm like, but he's been knighted.
Yeah. No, I do want to be kissed by Ian McKellen.
So yeah, that was, I mean, you know, so sometimes it pays to play your own material.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's always been a bugbear of mine. I've always been the same. Even like I said, I mean, since I started back producing again, like mid last year, like I said, the quality of my track. I mean, I'm not saying that the highest quality. You know, I'd honestly say that I've learned literally about, I don't know, maybe 20% of what you can learn because it's that vast. But the difference in quality now to what I'm making to what I'm compared to making, and I still don't like playing them, my own songs. As well, I find, this is just me though, it's just how I'm wired up. I feel like if I play my own music, I'm like a bit of a, oh, look at me, I'm an egotistical prick, you know, look how good my music, and I just take that side of things. But a lot of people have said to me, you should play them because it's good promo.
Yeah.
It's, you know, he's putting your name out there, and you know, and they're always reassuring me like, your music's good, so you need to start playing it. So since we've been on lockdown, you know, I've been doing a couple of like live feeds on Facebook, so I have started playing a lot more of my tracks. But I think more than anything now, especially with the tracks that I've signed so far this year, I know there's some quality behind them, so I'm a bit more comfortable actually playing my music now.
Oh, that's good. I think for me, when if I've got new singles out or whatever, I will only drop them in my set if I feel they're going to work for that moment on the dance floor.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
you know,
I think as well as the main reason I have been dropping them a bit more as well is I've been dropping them sort of like in conjunction with the releases. So I'll play one if it's due for release, and then all I do is I just promo it out and just let all of the DJs play them more than anything. I need to get over that side of things and actually start enjoying my own music. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I do get what you're saying. It does seem a bit egotistical, and sometimes you're right. You're just tired of hearing them. Yeah.
Oh yeah. by the time you come to mastering a track, I just don't want to play it anymore. I'm sick to death at the sound of it. Do you know what I mean? Like if I hear this riff one more time, man.
Oh, I fully get it. Or when you're working on something and you're kind of in the middle of it and you've lost perspective.
Yeah.
That's the worst. I mean, you may think I have a production partner that I work with still.
Yeah.
And he's great for just, you know, those kind of things. Like just when you're kind of stuck in your head, it's like nice to bounce it off somebody else to help you get it past that point.
I mean, all I get off my wife is, I really liked it, but I'm sick of fucking hearing it now. So it's like, yeah, she's heard every one about 1,000 times. So by the time they're getting played on like on Facebook or some DJs are playing them or putting them in the mixers, she'll be sat there and she'll be like, I did like this one, but not so much anymore because I'm just fucking sick of it now.
Well, at least your wife, I mean, she clearly must like house music. My partner literally calls the music I play, he says it sounds like a broken record. That's what he says.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not fucking feedback you want, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Ironically, the track he likes the most out of all the ones I've done was, I don't think you've heard it. It's a track called Habitat, or maybe you have because Lucius Lowe's played it a few times.
Oh, right, I probably will. Yeah, I probably will have done. Yeah,
and it's like it's an instrumental. It's very deep house. It's like true fucking just straight ahead house. Yeah. And surprisingly, that's the one he likes. I'm just like, out of all the stuff I've done, like this is not what I expected. There's nothing commercial at all about this track.
Yeah. It's proper house music.
It's proper house. Like it's like 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. You know, house. I'm very proud of the track. Don't get me wrong. I think it's one of the best things I've ever done. But like, and I'm looking at him going, but this sounds like a fucking broken record. This is literally like
this is what you're saying that it sounds like, and you like this one.
Exactly. So, I mean, at least you got somebody who's a little more encouraging and will actually, I don't even bother with my partner anymore because he just always asks me, when's it done?
You see, I was working on a track last week. So what we've been doing, COVID on lockdown. So when we get to weekend, I'll be taking the decks and some of the equipment downstairs into the kitchen.
Yeah.
And the missus, she was trying to watch something on telly last Sunday, I think. And I was trying to get the kick right. So I got the kick on a four beat loop and just looping,
yeah.
and just trying to just pinch a bit of bottom end off it. And missus were like, for fuck's sake, it's just banging. I can't watch telly. I just can't concentrate. And it was literally for about 20 minutes, just a kick for 20 minutes, just constant.
Yeah. One of the first tracks I made with my production partner back in 2000, I knew nothing. I was just a DJ. I came in with ideas and I knew how to, I helped him arrange and I knew how to do builds and all the drama and stuff like that. Yeah. But I could not program for the life of me. So, I would sit there and he would do it. Anyway, he wanted a particular kick and he combined I think 3 fucking kicks and he was taking the high off of one, dropping the low. And now I understand what he was going for. But back then, the first hour of the session was fucking tweaking a kick. And I'm like, dude, if you don't stop, I'm going to fucking strangle you. I literally can't handle this anymore. But now I can't believe, I think in 2008 was the turning point for me. I picked up a producer pack, a tech house one.
Yeah.
And I'm literally going through the kicks and jizzing my pants at the kicks. You know what I mean? There was 20 of them and I'm like, oh yeah. When did I become that person, you know?
Yeah. I mean, one good thing that has come out of this sort of situation that everybody's in at the moment is, like I said, I'm always learning anyway. So, and I've just been sat constantly when I've not been working or not been making a track, just constantly watching YouTube videos from different producers, what their little tricks are, their little, just because what works for one person, don't necessarily work for another person. And every producer's differently, the setup, everything's different. So all I've done for like 3 weeks is just constantly watching YouTube. I've got a couple of producer friends that, one of them at the minute is going to be huge in the next 18 months. He's making some quality music. So I bounce ideas off him and just little things I learned so much of a day on adding width with panning.
Okay, yeah.
Rather than using a plugin, actually, use panning. And I just sat there just tiny little things that you consciously, you're not going to hear it. But the difference it makes is, like you say, when did I become that person listening to a hi-hat that's so much to right of the track and then I've got a clap that's so much pan to left, and the difference it makes is fucking unreal. Absolutely unreal.
But it's kind of cool, right?
Oh, I got a message yesterday. I've been working with a vocalist on a track a couple of weeks ago, and he messaged me where are we submitting this track out? What we're doing. And I just said to him last night, I'd had a few drinks last night, and I just said to him, mate, what I've learned in these last 3 weeks, the tunes that I'm going to be knocking out are going to be different level. So I'm going to be coming back to you for some vocals because what I have learned and what I've put together is just, I can't believe I'm going up in levels. It seems like I'm going up in levels every week or every couple of weeks. I'm just learning stuff all the time, constantly. I put a track together yesterday in about, I mastered it today. I put it together in about 4 hours yesterday from start to finish.
My God.
And just literally the intricacy of some of the things is, I just can't believe I've not been doing it previously. Do you know what I mean? So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I really wish I had that fire under my ass right now. What are you producing on? What are you using?
Ableton.
Oh, you're an Ableton guy. Okay.
But I had a studio session a couple of months ago with a guy, and he was using Logic. So just seeing, for me, I'm used to Ableton, so I know where I'm going to get this or what to do with this and this. But just little things that Ableton don't do that Logic does. So when I finally get this studio all finished, I'm going to get the old Mac out and I'm going to do a bit of production on Logic because I did like some of the things that Logic does a lot simpler than what Ableton does. Just small things like putting a channel into mono or stereo.
Mhm.
It's with Logic. It's literally a drop down. What do you want it, mono or stereo? Ableton, you have to get a preset, drop it on, or a plugin, drop it on. It's just little things like that. Just time saving things as well. I mean, I'm 100 mile an hour when I'm producing, so if I can save a bit of time, then I'm all for that. Do you know what I mean?
That's amazing. Well, I looked into Logic a little bit. I've been doing Pro Tools.
All right, I've never actually seen Pro Tools.
I hate it, but I love it at the same time. I love it.
I'm saying with Ableton.
Yeah. I love the editing feature
Okay.
in Pro Tools. Like if there's something I want to sample, if there's a groove I want to nick off a record,
yeah,
it's just the editing tools I'm very proficient in, and I can lay out the bones of a track really quickly.
Yeah.
But I hate it for like soft synths and stuff like that. It drives me fucking nuts.
What do you find, Aris? What's your weakest area for producing? What would you say? What do you find the toughest? What is it that you always need maybe a second set of ears for, or
keyboard parts?
Keyboards.
I'm very proficient at building grooves. I can come up with bass lines.
Yeah.
But I definitely, I'm not a musician. So I work with my production partner who I come in, tell him sort of the feel of the track, what I have. But I've actually been using a tool called, have you heard of Oxy?
No.
It's AUXY. It's an app that somebody recommended to me, and I put it on my phone, and it's step programming, but it's very intuitive, I guess. And it's very freeing. Like you could just you select the key that you want to use. You find, the sound you want to, create. And I actually ended up, I still can't believe this. I've had 3 tracks released that were strictly made in Oxy.
Right. Okay.
Like, I mean, I outputted the audio into WAV files, arranged it within Pro Tools, but all the sounds, the kick, everything came from, maybe I might have thrown a couple of top loops on them.
Right.
And it was fun because they kind of, what I liked about it is they completely changed the sound that I'd been creating. Yeah. Which I like. So there's a period where I was making very warehousey, simple, 5-minute, very straight to the point. And I'm very, it's so funny. They're the simplest things I've ever done, but I'm actually quite proud of them. Like I listen to them now and I'm like, fuck, these are really like this. They're exactly what I wanted them to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
There's nothing worse than listening back to something that you've done and thinking, fuck, I missed the mark.
Like I say, when I've listened to my productions from 5 years ago, I'm just listening to that and I'm actually sort of like, fuck, and these have been released and people are listening to these and they're fucking horrible. And people have, and it's just like, wow, my name's on these now. And it's like, fucking hell. I wish I'd have just done it properly to start with. So
I don't think you should regret those things because, I mean, I don't think people will, well, maybe they will, maybe some will, but at the end of the day, they were obviously good enough to be released.
Absolutely. I mean, there's definitely 2 that I'd love to revisit because they are really good, but knowing what I can do now, I could make them so much better and there would be sort of like quality records.
Yeah.
But obviously, because they're on a label, I can't exactly go back to the label and say, actually, can I just redo that one and re-release it for me? I don't think they're going to work with that. So
no, they probably won't. But I mean, it got you to where you are today, and that's absolutely. Right. That's the best journey. So when this pandemic is over, what are your plans?
Well, funny thing is, I've always said, even now, I mean, I'm doing more production than DJing, but I've always said I'm a DJ first and then a producer. So, I mean, I did a couple of live sets last week on internet for a radio station, a couple of video streams. And I was like, fuck, I need to stop being sat behind a computer and actually get back out DJing again. I've had a couple of gigs cancelled this year, obviously, with what's happening. And I've got a couple of gigs that I've got booked in, hopefully, for when it ends. But it's just, I need to get my tune collection back to where it should be. And I've got the production kind of locked down now, so I need to go back to what I really enjoy doing, which is more DJing. So I'm just going to be pushing more and more. I mean, I've got contacts in that. And I played for a couple of good later brands in my time. Played at Egg Candy. I had a residency for Love to Be. I was Love to Be resident for a couple of years. So, I've got contacts. So I want to start sort of like touching bases again with some contacts and just get back out and DJ again and actually play my music out again. as well, and just get back into that way. I do miss it a little bit, but I'm not as young as I used to be. So, there were times when I'd finish a set like at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'd still be quite fresh. But if somebody offered me a 7 while 8 o'clock set now, I don't know what I'd do.
Yeah, and I think I've got about 20 years on you, so we're not even going to talk about how old you feel. Well, I miss playing with for a crowd. I miss the energy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's when I'm DJing as well, I'm quite sort of like energetic. I get into my music a lot. So yeah, because for me, it's not a job. It's kind of like I'm getting to play music, but to me, I'm getting my own personal gig as well. So I'm getting to select tracks that I probably would like to hear if I'm on other side of decks and stuff. So yeah, I do kind of miss doing it as much. So I think I'm definitely going to be making a big push again when this is out of the way, definitely.
Oh, for sure. I think we all are looking forward to that. Okay, well, on that note, we're going to say goodbye. Thank you, James, very much.
Thank you, mate. Thank you for having me.
And keep putting out that fucking quality work.
Thank you.
I look forward to being seeing you at like number 1 on the Beatport chart and going, I know that guy.
Well, I'll make sure I've got a decent backlog of promos, so I'm going to fire it over to you at some point this week.
Nice. I look forward to it.
Yeah, brilliant, mate.
All right,
Thank you.
Thanks for chatting.
No problem. Thanks for having me, mate.
You're welcome.